Why the hell didn't you back me up?
Because she wanted to fight!
Our mother just died. What's the matter with you?
She was working through it!
Long time no see, you guys. Excited to now chat about part 2, though. So at the end, Ralph and William, I'll start with you guys. So at the end of part 1, we see that you have a very tentative relationship heading into Sekai Taikai, but now we also see that Kreese is back and as leading his own Cobra Kai. What can we expect from Daniel and Johnny's relationship heading into part 2, especially since Daniel's still kind of conflicting with what he's learned about Miyagi so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's, they've set some big hurdles for them. They have to, I mean, there's certainly growth with Johnny and Daniel where they have this falling out at the end of 605, but they're holding it together for the kids. That's sort of an informed step forward for them, putting themselves aside for the greater good.
They're still roommates at a hotel.
Yeah,
that says a lot for how far these characters have come.
But they have to unpack a lot to figure out, and Kreese and then Tori, which is a gut punch to everyone. There's a lot to unpack and figure out. Part 2 has got high highs and low lows, and certainly for Daniel, he winds up spiraling, chasing answers to who Miyagi might have been, and the deeper he looks, the more trouble and in actual peril that he becomes and takes his eye off the prize. And then we have some epic martial arts, like next level stuff that our young cast does in the Sekai Taikai, and the competition level is greater than ever, and truly an epic conclusion to part 2 that just should knock your socks off. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and Kreese is the big bad. I mean, it's a chance for Miyagi-Do to defeat Kreese once and for all in the world stage, and personally for Johnny to out the best Kreese finally. And so all his chips are on the kids, and it means everything to him because he doesn't want the kids to experience what he experienced after his defeat in '84 and go down that rabbit hole.
It's really been wonderful to see Johnny's growth since that time, and as well as Daniel's both growth as well as some of his spirals. So I'm excited to see what comes from that in part 2. Yuji, I'd like to turn to you next. We saw in part 1, Chozen was really starting to reflect on his time with Kumiko and possibly fly out to her to try and work things out. What can we expect from his mindset on that front, as well as just in general heading into part 2?
Yeah, there's a lot of unfinished business that he has in Okinawa. I think he's still in search of finding happiness, and I think when we see what happens to him and his journey, I think he realizes now that I think the focus needs to be on the present, which is training the kids. And I think once he gets to that realization, I think he focuses all this energy on making sure the kids are all ready and prepped for this big world tournament. So I think that's where his focus starts to go in that direction.
Well, that's like with Daniel and Johnny here, that's also a big sign of growth. So I look forward to seeing what comes from that as well. I see I'm almost out of time. So Ralph, I did actually want to turn back to you and talk about briefly the Karate Kid movie, because I'm really excited that this franchise is continuing beyond the show. And what can you tell me about why LaRusso is going out reportedly to the East Coast and how he sort of interacts with both Mr. Han and this new Karate Kid?
Well, I can't go into detail on it at this point, but one of the things I've always dealt with this character, not dealt with, but the choices I've made from back in 1983 was always kind of play the truth of Daniel LaRusso and the honesty, even with all his flaws. I mean, he's a good-hearted kid back in the day that wanted, was overcoming obstacles and wanted to, and had this wonderful mentor in Mr. Miyagi that has become so much a part of his life. And through Cobra Kai, continuing to play that truth. And even in the storyline in Cobra Kai and unearthing, who Miyagi might have been and coming to grips grips with when we get to part 3 of how it resolves and playing that in all honesty. So in the movie, it's the same through line for me. It's wanting to pay it forward, wanting to honor the legacy, wanting to do all the things that Miyagi-Do and that his life to this point has brought him, and that is to try to help anyone find their balance and move forward. So therein lies some of the truth that I bring into that chapter of the franchise. It's the best I could do without giving you story points, because I'd be in trouble at this point. Right now it's launching part 2 of Cobra Kai, but that's what it's about, playing truth, and that's important to me, and I think will pay off dividends.
Well, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, so I appreciate the answer nonetheless, and I look forward to hopefully chatting with you guys for part 3, because like I said, I'm just so in love with what you guys have done so far, and I mean, part 1 just blew me away already, so I know parts 2 and 3 are going to do the same. So thank you guys so much. I greatly
Thanks, man.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good job.
Still feels weird to box up Mr. Miyagi's stuff, but if anyone's gonna move in, I'm glad it's chosen.
Cellular signal not good. Did Miyagi-san run fiber optic internet?